What are you drinking? 'Cause I'm already drunk. Hi, the bar is open. What are you drinking? 'Cause I'm already drunk. And I'm on my third cocktail because this is part 3 of the Summer House Season 10 recap. And we are still on episode 9. And as I said before, I am so glad that I'm coming in late and after the season is over so I can go back and really analyze this relationship and look at it through a different lens. And it's looking more like an affair. Yeah. And so now I get to go on a scavenger hunt for clues and Easter eggs and all the breadcrumbs that we may have missed along the way. And to my surprise, there was a lot. So now I get to play Nancy Drew, except I'm a boozy bitch too. And you're watching Boozy Talk. So go grab another cocktail and let's get right back into it. Let's go. And it is the morning after Kyle's birthday/retirement party. Yeah. I hate the morning after, big parties where there's garbage everywhere and you have to do a cleanup and blah, blah, blah. You're hungover and it's like you just want breakfast. And speaking of breakfast, here's Dara teaching KJ how to make eggs, apparently, or pancakes, because apparently he's not the chef and he doesn't cook. So, yeah. Dara's quite the lady, huh? She's just getting right in there. And I'll tell you what, if there's one way to solidify your place on the show or a part of the cast is to make hungover breakfast for everybody. For sure. Well, that and also dating one of the cast members. And so the house has been summoned for breakfast. And at breakfast, Lindsay tells everyone that she's having a housewarming party because she's got a new apartment and she's completely renovated it and whatnot. And so she wants everybody to come over and check it out. And then Ben asks Lindsay if he can bring a +1. And is that +1 a Sabrina, perhaps? Your secret girlfriend? Yeah. Oh, and I just want to point out, I love the fact that Carl is wearing a T-shirt that says, "Summer should be fun." And that is a quote from Kyle that we all know from 18 summers ago. Yeah, and summer should be fun, but instead it's full of alcohol, drama, and broken relationships. And then we find out that Sierra has purchased her grandparents' home, which is amazing, because she wants to keep it in the family and that kind of thing. That made me think, I wish I would have bought my grandparents' home. They're past now, and they used to live upstate New York. And yeah, they had a cute little house. And I actually did have the opportunity to buy it since it was so cheap. But yeah, it was just too far from where I live. And there ain't shit going on in that town. And so I don't see myself ever living there. And yeah, so. But this isn't about me. This is about Sierra. And oh, look at little Sierra, just cute as a button. And yeah, so obviously she grew up in that home. And, it's a big deal for her to be able to purchase it. And then here's Mia, beautiful inside and out. Mia says what a big deal it is for Sierra to be able to purchase this home, and keep it in the family. And it's a huge accomplishment, and that she's even downplaying it, and that she shouldn't do that, and that she should be proud of what she's been able to do. And oh no, not another Amanda and Kyle conversation. Brace yourself. So anyway, it's morning and they're all getting ready to leave and go back to the city. But Kyle and Amanda decide to just have a little chat before they do that. And it's the same thing again, of course. He says that he feels neglected by her and that he just doesn't feel that she wants to be with him anymore. And that she says, well, I do love you, but it's hard for me to want to be with somebody who's always constantly complaining and whining and drinking and then cursing at me and then apologizing the next day and then doing it all over again. You know what I mean? And then, of course, now we know about Amanda and West, but there has been a lot of cheating allegations with Kyle over the years. And not to mention, we all remember that he did cheat on Amanda before they got married. And so she chose to marry him and she trusted him at that point. So, but I just want to point that out because there's cheating on both sides in this relationship. However, Kyle was the first one to shoot that bullet. And so they both agree that they need to work on their shit and like get into therapy. And so they're going to make an appointment when they get back. And yeah, they make up for now. And then look at Lindsay taking home 2 bottles of rosé with her. That's my kind of girl. You know what I'm saying? I just had to point that out. That's some boozy bee type of stuff. Yeah. And so we're back in the city, and it looks like Carl and KJ are going on another run. So there seems to be like a thing now, the two of them going for runs. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to keep it there. But anyway, they say that going for a run really helps with stress and anxiety. Yeah, we'll go with that. And then here's Lindsay getting ready for her housewarming party. And she was so kind to give us a little tour of her place. And here's her living room. And wait, am I tripping? Or is that 2 TVs? Is that like a weird shot? Or is that like a double shot? Or am I tripping? Anyway, and here's the kitchen. I like the kitchen. I don't know about that dark stone for an island. But anyway, and then here's her bedroom, super small, you know, because it is New York, guys, you know. So even with money, you're still going to have a small bedroom, okay? And then, yeah, and she shares it with her daughter, of course, Gemma. Oh, so we just get a few little stuffed animals and a sign, and that's about it. We don't get to see the room and stuff like that. Because she says that she wants to keep her child's life as private as she can, which I totally understand. You know what I mean? Because in the world that we live in today, where privacy no longer exists, you know, and from my generation, I'm lucky if I have 4 or 5 pictures from when I was a baby, let alone from when I was 2 or 3. You know, I have very few pictures, where nowadays, any kid that was born in the last 10 years has every single hour, second, minute, day, week, month, year documented of their life, okay? So they can go back to any moment that they want throughout their life because it's documented, right? So I understand Lindsay's probably more from my generation. So I understand her trying the best that she can to keep things private. But some might say, or most people actually might say, because she's a public figure, you know, she's in the public eye, that it's stupid to keep her daughter's life private, right? Because eventually we're going to see her life. And so I get it from both angles. And so Lindsay's housewarming party starts, and right away you can see the money. I mean, she's hired a piano player because evidently she has a piano in her foyer when you first come in, which I don't know where she would fit that in her apartment in New York, but shit. And then here comes Sierra and Mia, and they're like, wow, okay, Lindsay. And they are greeted with champagne. And it's actually giving old school New York. You know what I mean? Like old money, you know what I mean? With the dark apartments and the bookshelves and shit like that. Yeah, I remember those days. Not my apartment, of course. No, I had a normal apartment, you know, the kind that has cracks in the walls. Yeah, but I used to go visit my richer friends. Yeah, and so their apartments looked like this. Or their parents' apartments looked like this. Let me be clear. And here comes Kyle and Amanda, and she's brought flowers. Hey, where's the bottle of booze, man? Come on. Is this your first housewarming party? You're supposed to bring flowers and a bottle, okay? What's going on here? Anyway, you know, in fairness, I don't know what the financial situation is, and never mind what you see on TV, right? But I know that Kyle and Amanda have a little bit of money, all right? Let's just say, you know, or they should anyway, from the show and the businesses and all of that stuff. They could afford this. I mean, you know, they've only showed us little glimpses of their apartment, and it kind of looks like shit from what I've seen. So, yeah, I mean, they could, you know, technically have an apartment like this. But nonetheless, they are in awe, And so Lindsay, wow, girl, you have really updone yourself, okay? This is class at its finest. This is New York at its finest, okay? She has a full-on staff, and the whole nine. She's got the hors d'oeuvres going, and this isn't just your normal bruschetta, okay? It's got some shrimp in there, and all right, girl, all right, I see you. Kudos. And here comes Kyle and Carl, the Doublemint twins. No, I'm just kidding, because you remember what I said before. Anyway, rewind it back. Okay, again, here we go. Here is Jesse and Carl. And yes, Carl is actually showing up to Lindsay's housewarming party. And he's brought a gift for Lindsay. Now, see, this is a person that knows how to housewarm, okay? He's brought her a bottle, and he's brought her a present for her baby girl. And aw, it's a book. See, he's being nice. He's being nice. And of course, Lindsay's got to give him a little something because it's awkward. And so here's the awkward moment.
Exactly. I think the book will be really cool because she was born in New York and the whole thing.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Of course.
It's the thought that counts. Yeah. And so here's KJ and Dara. And so I guess it's safe to say that they are a brand new couple now, I guess, right? Because they want to make it exclusive. They're not seeing anybody else. Obviously, Dara made that clear when she was teeter-tottering between him and Ben. And then speaking of Ben, here comes Bailey. And she was the one that started the rumor of Dara going into Ben's room and being gone for a couple hours and then going in with one outfit and coming out with another. Then here's Levi with her. Is it just me? But we're like halfway through episode 9 and like, who the hell is Levi? Right? I don't know shit about her. Anyway, but at least Dara will give her some eye contact for about a couple of seconds. And because she asked her a question or something, and I don't even remember what it was because, she's boring and she doesn't say much. You know what I mean? So the focus goes back over to Bailey because Bailey knows this reality TV shit. She knows this game. She has cracked the code and she is tapped in. And so Dara says that she's lucky and happy that she ran into these two girls. She was hoping that they would be there because she wanted to confront them and just try and figure out why she would say something like that. And so Bailey explains. She said, well, did you not go into his room or was I seeing shit? And Dara says no, and that she only went in there to get changed and then she came out immediately after. Okay, but didn't you just say no? You just said no. You weren't in there. But you were to get changed. Okay, gotcha. And that's the end of episode 9. Left at a standoff. And then we start off episode 10 immediately back in the standoff. And just to recap, this is where Dara confronts Bailey about putting out the rumor, or telling Lindsay that she was under the impression that Dara was in Ben's room and so maybe they were hooking up, something like that, right? And Dara says no, she wasn't in Ben's room, although she was just to get changed, and then she came out directly after. So, yeah, a little suspect. And I mean, hello, girl, you were single, you just started dating KJ. You just made your choice. So, I mean, technically, you could have done whatever you wanted. So you should have just said that. Also, you didn't hook up with him, right? You didn't even make out. Nothing happened. You were just testing out the waters. So you should have just said that. But anyway, I get it, though, because KJ is the type of guy that, he wanted to know that he was number one from the very first moment, that type of thing. And, well, because he has other issues, but we'll get into that later. And so Bailey explains her reasoning to Dara, which I think she did a good job, which is basically like, listen, hey, I don't know you that well. I was in the kitchen. I was just, munching on some snacks or whatever. Maybe she smoked some weed. Who knows? And then I just happened to see you walk by and go into Ben's room. And then you didn't come out for a few hours. So I just assumed and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, hey, girl, I would have thought the same thing. Come on. And again, I think Bailey cracked the code, unlike Levi. And she knows what drama points to kind of tap into in order to get on the show. And then this is where things get mushy-ushy-gushy. And Bailey apologizes. She said, look, I'm sorry. Maybe I should have thought about it a little bit more before I put that information out there. And then Dara's like, oh no, that's okay. I totally understand. I would have thought the same thing. And you know, Ben's a really flirty guy. And speaking of flirty guy, in walks Ben from behind Bailey with Sabrina, his girlfriend, question mark, I guess, or from, yeah, it's his girlfriend, but we don't know from when, you know, how long ago, how recent ago. Yeah, the timeline is a little sketchy. And so then he says hi to Lindsay, and then he introduces her. And, you know, I find it interesting because even Bravo is confused, right? Because they introduce her as Ben's friend. And then she meets Kyle and Jesse. And I don't know, maybe Jesse knows something that we don't know. Maybe text messages or something. I don't know. But he says, when did you guys meet, or when did you start dating? And I guess she says May or March or something like that. Whatever, right? They're together now. That's what counts. But here's Jesse in his confessional, and he has a theory. Yeah, he thinks that they're reconnecting just a little bit too fast. So he's thinking, what if they weren't reconnecting and maybe they were dating the whole entire time? Wouldn't that be interesting? That's a good theory, Jesse. And also because it's true. Yeah. And then here's Mia's boyfriend, because, you know, she has a boyfriend. But we're not going to get too much into him because it doesn't last. And I think he only shows up for one episode. And yeah, that's it. Oh, and his name is Scott. Yeah. All right, Scott. Well, here's your 30 seconds in the sun. You're welcome. And then here's Lindsay coming over to converse with the next gen of Summer House, possibly. And look at the thirst in their eyes, all fighting for Lindsay's attention, because you know they want to befriend her because she's the OG of the show. And she's moving on to bigger and better things, as you can see. And she's on a whole nother new show called In the City. So we already know that Summer House has been renewed for another season. And so could they be the next Lindsay, Paige, and Sierra? Question mark? Maybe, or maybe not. And so Bailey tells Lindsay that she went out on a date with Carl and that, you know, it was fun, but PG-13, but flirty. And is she okay with that if she were to date Carl? And Lindsay's like, yeah, sure, I don't give a shit. Exactly. And then here's Carl and Bailey having a little chit-chat about their little date. And I don't even really care. But you know what? I will take out a moment to give Carl his flowers, okay? Because Carl, out of everybody on the show, okay, has come the farthest, all right? He has come a long way, all right, from many, many, many seasons ago. Actually, the first season, which I told you a while back. I've been here for the very first episode of Summer House when he was dating Lauren, however you pronounce her last name, Worcester, or whatever, the steak sauce, whatever you call her, all right? And then he was dating her, and then she has a twin sister, right? So here's a little homage from where Carl started to where he is now, right? He was a heavy drinker. He used to get drunk. As I said, he was a fuckboy. And then, you know, he got sober because his brother passed away, and his brother passed away of drugs. I believe it was a drug overdose. And then now he's sober, and he's more of a relationship guy now, and he's like super emotional and all that. So that's what I'm talking about. He's come a long way. And so, Carl, here's to you. You deserve it, man. Here's your flowers. Oh, and also, I'm sorry for making fun of your looks in the first season. Yeah, because you were such an asshole. And so, I don't know. I was like, how can he be like that when he looks like that? So, I'm sorry for making fun of your big head and your big ears. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Take it slow here. That little voice in the back of my head is, be careful hooking up in the house.
Yeah, not a good idea.
Or it's fun.
What are you guys doing, Lauren?
Oh, yeah. I remember this. Good times.
Carl only talks to me Friday through Sunday.
Oh, there's Stassi, the original OG of it
I
all.
like it a lot. I think you're amazing. So let's just be adults and just go, yeah, you're right. Let's have fun. More life.
Yeah, More life, more life. I remember that. That was the famous quote of all of Summer House. Actually, the second, you know, because, you know, the first is summer should be fun. But second famous quote of all time is definitely "More Life" by Carl Radke. And so congratulations, Carl. You really have come a long way. Uh-oh, she's tapping on the glass, guys. Does that mean she's going to give a speech? Oh, shit. Yeah, because Lindsay is notorious for giving bad speeches, as you know. And just in case you forgot, let me remind you. So this was 2 summers ago when I think this was after the first breakup with Carl. And then we have another speech. This is when she was pregnant, and this is last summer. Yeah. And what they didn't show is that, and you probably already know, is that she put a huge poster-like sign of her sonogram, on the mantle over the fireplace. And then this was 4 summers ago when Lindsay was dressed as like a fairy princess or something. And that she said when she was a little girl, she used to believe in fairy tales. And now that she's grown, she realizes that that was all bullshit. And real life sucks or something like that. And here's another speech from last summer when Lindsay says to Carl, "Thank you for setting me free so I can go and live my best life." And Carl was like, "Yeah, thanks. That's nice." Which, let me just say, was iconic coming from Lindsay, because there she was sitting there pregnant with another man's baby. And so skip to the present, and Lindsay's giving a speech, and she's thanking everyone for coming and, for her accomplishments, and look how far she's come, and yada, yada. Yeah, we already know, Lindsay. Okay, you're winning. Got it. Great. Good for you. No, look, Lindsay deserves her flowers too, okay? She's also come a very long way, and she's a mom now, and she's a boss bitch, and she's a boss babe, and she's got her fabulous new apartment. So yeah, she truly is winning, right? And speaking of winning, here's Sierra in her new place that she's taken over, her grandparents' place, and she's newly bought it. And she's going there to meet up with an interior designer and an architect that she's hired to help her with renovation plans and stuff like that. So she's going over a few things, and she wants to preserve a lot of the house because her grandfather was a builder. And apparently, he had a bunch of homes on the same street or the same block. And so here's Sierra in her confessional, and she's basically explaining more of that, where, her grandfather had an idea for generational wealth, right? And so he bought these homes, he renovated them, and then he gave each one to like his kids or a member of his family. And over the years, they kind of sold the homes. And so I think this might be the only one left. And his plan was that everybody owns a home and create generational wealth. Because, back in not too long ago, and for a long time, Black families couldn't buy homes. It wasn't available for them. It wasn't within their reach, and so this is super important because now we're in 2026 and she's a homeowner. And she's creating something, and she's continuing a legacy. And hopefully she's planting seeds to grow roots for her kids and for her future family. And so it's really, really, really amazing and a huge accomplishment, and it's intelligent. And then here's the girls having lunch, Lindsay, Amanda, and Mia. And they ask Amanda what's going on with Kyle and all that, and we don't want to hear it, right? Yeah, we already know. But this is why I put this in here, is because more importantly, we learn a little bit more about Mia. And she's talking about how she wants a family and she wants kids and all of that. And she's not sure if her boyfriend Scott is the one. But then she says that she lost her parents and that she lost her dad when she was 22 to cancer. And then just a year and a half ago, she lost her mom, who she was really close with. And so it makes sense why she's longing for family and to have a family of her own. And then Lindsay, of course, knowing what she knows, lets her know that, listen, if you want to do this with a man or in a partnership or in a marriage, you have to make sure that you're not doing the single mom thing within your marriage, which, hallelujah, that's good advice, because it doesn't seem, Mia doesn't want to be a single mom. She wants to do it the traditional way. And so Lindsay is reminding her that it takes a village to raise a child. And so if she is going to do it with somebody, that make sure that she's got a stable companion. And if you don't have a companion or a partner, you're going to need a shit ton of money to hire help. Basically, you know what I mean? And so we now know that her and Scott are no longer. They broke up. So we know that Scott is not the one, okay? But Mia, I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. You're on a television show now, and so you're going to get a lot of DMs, okay? You're going to get a lot of DMs. And let's just hope that one of them is from a good guy. Yeah. And here's Sierra having lunch with her mom. And I put this in here because it gives us a little bit more background on the purchasing of her grandparents' home. So apparently it was her dad's parents' home. And apparently her dad doesn't know that she purchased the home, okay? Because apparently Sierra hasn't talked to her dad in over 4 years. So she didn't really want the back and forth of it all, which I totally understand. Because she basically had to go behind everybody's back to purchase the home, you know, so maybe she's feeling a little bit guilty about that. But her mom doesn't think that she did anything wrong, and she's proud of her. And she said, listen, you know, you had a goal set out and you achieved it, you know, and if this is the way that you had to do it, then that's the way you had to do it, you know, and I'm proud of you. And then Sierra continues to say that, yeah, she wants to be a country girl again. Yeah, she wants to leave the city and go back to the country, have a couple of kids, have a couple of pigs, you know, set roots, you know what I mean? Have some Thanksgiving, some Christmases there and all that. You know what I'm saying? She wants to have create generational wealth, own land, continue her grandfather's plan and all that. And so this is where she gets into all the legal mumbo jumbo of it all. And so I'm going to just break it down for you real quick. All right. And so basically she had to create a separate entity, right? An LLC or a fake person or whatever to buy her father's house from up under him. Okay. So smart. That's a smart bitch. Okay. And then the producers ask her, they're like, so your father doesn't know, like, when is he going to find out that you own the house? And she says, well, now. Yeah, he knows now, girl. He knows now. And then the gang is going back out for another weekend at the house. And this time, Dara is a part of the crew. And it's going to be her first weekend, which, didn't you already show up at the house twice already, girl? What are you talking about? Oh, you mean like overnight? Okay, whatever. And then Jesse asks him how the wedding was. And so apparently 3 days ago, Wes was at a wedding in Italy. Yeah. And at this wedding, I just want to point out, you see this girl where her face is blurred out? Yeah, apparently that's Mija or Miha or what. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing her name right. But this is the secret girlfriend, I guess, of Wes, because apparently she was dating him the whole time. And she makes like horse-haired ties for a living or whatever. Yeah, he wore it on Watch What Happens Live. Yeah, you know the girl. And so they get to the house, and Carl, Jesse, and Ben are out back having a chat. And Carl is very upset. You know, he's coming in hot because apparently he's got a lot to get off his chest. And he's upset because Kyle never texted him on the anniversary of his brother's death, which is also Lindsay's birthday, by the way. Yeah, I remember. You guys remember that episode when Carl's brother died? They were at the house. They were actually there that weekend, and it was Lindsay's birthday. And so I remember him coming into Lindsay's room. I think it was like late night or something, letting her know what happened. So then Carl says that between not investing in his business, not texting him on the anniversary of his brother's death, that from what he can see, that all he really gives a shit about is his DJ career, right? And if the house was on fire, the only thing he would grab is his DJ equipment or some shit like that, you know? And so he says that he's tried to talk to him about it, but that he doesn't listen. And so now he knows how Amanda feels. And then Jesse says, well, I don't know the ins and outs of your guys' relationship, but what I do know, and from what I can see, is that you've been a good friend to Kyle, and Kyle really hasn't been a good friend to you. And so you should tell him that. Yeah, good luck with that. And then upstairs, you have West and Kyle, and Kyle's in denial because he's like, hey, man, do you think like Carl's like upset with me or something, man? He seems pretty mad. And Wes is like, well, yeah, why do you think? And Kyle's like, what? Because of the whole like investment thing or whatever? And Wes is like, no, man. He's like, because you didn't text him on the anniversary of his brother's death. And then Kyle goes silent, you know, because what can he say? You know, he knows he's wrong. And then, you know, when Kyle's got the shades on and a lover boy in his hand, yeah, you know what time it is. It means he's on his bicycle and he's on his way to Drunkville. But on his way there, first they make a stop at the Southampton golf range. Yeah, you know, and they play a little mini golf, which I'll spare you of. And then they all sit down to have some food, and then this is where Carl says to Kyle that they need to have a talk. And so right away, Kyle apologizes, and he says he's sorry for not texting him and not reaching out on his brother's anniversary. And he said that he's used to being with him on that day, and so he just spaced out, which, of course, there's no excuses, right? But Kyle says that, you know, he just feels like he's letting him down. And then Carl says, yeah, you are letting me down. Hello? And so here's Kyle in his confessional, and he's like, all right, let me get this straight. So I'm failing as a CEO of my own business. My marriage is falling apart, and now I'm a shitty best friend? Yes. You pretty much summed it up in a nutshell. And then here's Carl in his confessional, and he's saying, yeah, you know, your business is failing, your marriage is failing, and now you're going to treat me like this, your best friend? And if this is how you're going to treat me, what happens if you lose me as a friend? Then what are you going to have left? And so Carl is just very disappointed, and he feels like he doesn't have his friend right now. And it's obvious why he doesn't, is because Kyle is falling apart. And oh no, what's going on here? It looks like Ben and Amanda are having a little chat, and I know that face. We all know that face by now. That's the, what did I do? I didn't do nothing look on Amanda's face. So we know she's in trouble. And so Ben is telling her, he's like, so why did you tell my girlfriend, Sabrina, that I wanted to fuck you? Or sorry, that Bailey said at your birthday dinner that I wanted to sleep with you. Why would you say that? Why would you tell Sabrina that? And then here's Amanda. Oh my God, Ben, like, I totally didn't mean it like that. All right, we were just talking. And she like brought up like me and Kyle's like problems or whatever, which I assumed you told her. And so, yeah, I just like thought we were just having a conversation and like we were really getting along. And so like, I love her. Okay. And so I don't know what you mean. And then Ben's like, well, I mean, just don't tell my girlfriend that I want to bang you. Okay. And we're good. And that's the end of episode 10. And then we start off episode 11 right where we left off, because apparently there's more to this conversation. And I guess there's a little bit more to this Ben and Amanda drama than I thought, you know? And so I'm just going to let her say it, because I just think that the hypocrisy is super loud.
No, this man has been so single all summer. He showed up single, he's been acting single, and then this girl comes back into his life. And he's like, Amanda, I'm falling in love.
Ew.
How dare you? It's like, how dare I what? How dare you? I'm married. How dare you, sir?
Wow. The irony is literally killing me. Oh, but wait, there's more.
No, this man wanted to me in Italy. There's a whole group chat about it, and his friends had to be like, she has a husband. Did I play into it? Maybe, because who doesn't like a little attention? But, like, do not turn this around on me.
Yeah, I went a little overboard there with the emojis. Sorry, but you get it. Anyway, moving on. So now they're back at the house, and Amanda is telling Sierra and Mia about her conversation with Ben. And she's saying that now Sabrina thinks that Amanda thinks that Ben is in love with her, or something like that. And so after this, a few of them go out again to party at some nightclub, but not a lot was going on. So there's no point in showing it, because there's like a million more episodes to go, okay? And there's a lot to cover. So I'm trying to just stick to the things that matter. And, you know, all right, with a little cute little moments here and there. And speaking of cute little moments, here's one. And it was silent, but I wanted to put some caption to it. So here you go. You're welcome. Yeah, I thought that was a cute little flirty moment. And yeah, I'm just trying out the emojis, guys, you know, just experimenting a little bit. And so I hope you like it. Anyway, so that's the end of the night. And so it's the next morning, and it's Mia and Sierra. And Mia's telling her about this intense dream that she had about her parents and how they were still alive and stuff like that. And so she's feeling pretty emotional. And she's saying that she's ready to go see a medium. And like if Sierra knows anybody. And of course she does. She says, yeah, I know a girl. And Mia's like, yeah, I know you do, bitch. And I think it's a great idea. You just have to find a good one. And so now Jesse has summoned everybody to the backyard because he wants to tell them that he is throwing a Vegas-style party for no reason, apparently, just out of nowhere. And so, yeah, he needs their help, like setting up decorations and everything. But he wants to keep it simple. So for Jesse, that means a couple of signs, some cards, a couple of pieces of tape, and some bottle girls. And then Amanda's like, well, then can we have some pool boys? And then ding, 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 here's another one. Because Wes is like, no, you can't have any fucking pool boys. And then he comes over and like sits on her. Which is super fucking weird, right? But more importantly, it's a breadcrumb. And I'll tell you why. Because you remember when Sierra said that when Wes has a crush on somebody, he sits on them? Yeah. And I think Sierra actually clocks this because look at her face. She looks a little perplexed and a little confused. And she's like, that's weird. Yeah, it is. And then here's Amanda. Okay, Wes, can you like stop farting on me? Oh my God, you're like such a psycho. Well, yeah. And he's a few other things too. So ding, there's another one. And ew, that's gross. And so Amanda and Bailey hang out for a little bit, and Amanda's curious about what's going on with her and Carl. And Bailey basically tells her that she was like, oh, you didn't see him when we were at mini golf. He was like teaching me how to like play golf. And he spent the whole time with me. And Amanda's like, yeah, Carl's come a long way. But I think what Carl needs right now is he needs a girl that's like maybe a little bit weird, a little quirky, and doesn't take life too seriously. And so check, 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 check. That be you, Bailey. And then Amanda says to her, and for you, Bailey, I think you need a guy who's sensitive, thoughtful, and caring. And would you look at that? That sounds like Carl. And so basically, I think Amanda's trying to say that they're perfect for each other. I guess. Oh, and here's Ben's girlfriend. Yeah. Welcome to the house, Sabrina. Enter at your own risk. And so now Amanda's chilling out by the pool with Mia. And Mia's like, just so you know, I think Ben just got up to go let his girlfriend in. And Amanda's like, really? Okay, so should I talk to her now or should I wait until tomorrow? And Mia's like, you should talk to her now. Yeah, 1000%. And here she comes, Sabrina, the good witch. No, that just came out. And then Amanda says to the girls, she's like, you know, I think I'm going to let her settle in first before I break the ice. And so it looks like Sabrina already has a friend because right away she sits down next to Sierra and she's like, oh my God, I love your nails. Yeah, they're so cool. And Sierra's like, yeah, you know, we already hung out in the city. And she's a really nice girl, kind of a hippie. And so, yeah, I really like her. That's nice. I'm happy for you. And something tells me that she's not going to fuck you over like Amanda did. And now here's Amanda pulling Sabrina for a chat. And can I just say that Love Island has permanently changed the way that we speak forever? Yeah, the whole pulling somebody for a chat thing, that'll be stuck in my vocabulary for life. Yeah. Uh-oh. Amanda's got her hand over her chest again. So you know what that means. That means that she's about to apologize and then, like, feed her some bullshit. And so Amanda's like, yeah, I'm just like really sorry, you know, like it's just, I've been thinking about it a lot and it's been making me really uncomfortable and I just feel really bad. Yeah, and so I'm really sorry for what I said to you because like I didn't really mean it like that and that wasn't my information to give. So like, yeah. And you know what? That just made it worse, Amanda, because, I mean, whose information is it to give? What is it, Bailey's? Is it Ben's? I mean, yeah, that's kind of strange. And so Sabrina's like, yeah, I really appreciate this apology because I really thought it was strange, because when we met, we connected like right away and we had a great conversation. And like, I don't really connect with anybody like that, just like right away like that. And yeah, something tells me, Sabrina, that you do. You do connect with everybody just like that, because you just seem like that type of girl that, it's very hard to not get along with you type of thing. So it's a compliment. Take it. And then Amanda's like, oh my God, thank God. Thank God you accepted my apology because like I didn't know if this weekend was going to be like awkward or like what. And so then Sabrina tells her, yeah, no, we're good. We're good. Okay. And so now you have to just promise me that we're going to have like a really good time. And of course you're going to have a good time, Sabrina. It's a fabulous house and there's alcohol there. Yeah. And so, but if you're counting on the theme of the party, which was, I guess, supposed to be Vegas, I don't know. There's nothing really Vegas about this party. But anyway, moving on. And so here's Carl and Bailey just hanging out, chatting it up. And you know what? This is the classic case of these two are perfect for each other, except for the age gap, because there's like a 10-year age gap. And I'm sorry, that's a little much, because when he was in his second year of college, she was 10. Right? So, yeah, that's kind of a gap. But yeah, this is the classic example of two people that are perfect for each other, but there is zero chemistry, okay? Zero, all right? And that's why we're all in fucked up relationships. Because we're not with the people that should be perfect for us, right? Because there's no chemistry. We only have chemistry with the people that aren't good for us, right? I'm just kidding. And so then Carl is kind of like debriefing her on his past, right? And kind of giving her a backdrop on how he got sober and all this stuff and how he used to be a fuckboy, when he was drinking and he was an asshole and stuff like that. And so if you forgot, yeah, we remember, Carl, but if you forgot, let me remind you.
But then after a certain point, I became a flaming asshole. A, B, let's see what my D can do for the E.
You're really,
so go F,
you're really communicating.
U, and the G.
Yeah, good times. I miss Lauren, actually, Yeah, where you been at, girl? Huh? Yeah, she's married now. And so this is all behind her now. Yeah, as it should. And so Carl just finishes telling her that, like, he's sober now, he's a changed man, and he's ready for a real relationship. Which, finally, Carl, I mean, what are you, almost 40? Yeah, it's time. And then another thing that's frustrating for Carl is that now that he's sober, he has a hard time expressing his feelings, right? So like when he was drunk, he had no problem telling someone to fuck off if that was what was needed, right? And so he's telling Bailey that he just had a conversation with Kyle at the mini golf and he didn't really get out what he wanted to say. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's important. I'm going to show, now that I've shown who Carl used to be, I have to point out and I have to show who Carl is today. Because he's a reformed fuckboy, whether you like it or not, okay? And he really has changed his ways. And so I think I need to show that because a lot of the times I bash men, because they rarely change. And so it's important to show when they do, okay? So come on, we got to show it.
Something that has gone on for me since I got sober, which is I know what I'm feeling, but sometimes I don't have the confidence to say what I want to say because I care so much about what other people think. My behavior when I did drink and use hurt a lot of people. And I don't want to do that. I really don't want to hurt anybody, and I don't want to hurt my best friend.
Aww, this is making me emotional. Makes me want to cry. But I'm a Cancer, so I'll cry at anything. I'll cry if a fly dies. And so, congratulations, Carl. This is extremely mature. And it sounds like your emotional intelligence has finally arrived. Anyway, back to the party. And I would just like to point out that this pool floaty bar thing is the only attraction for this Vegas-themed party, okay? And so, Jesse, you should never host a party ever again, okay? Because I don't see any crap tables. Where's the Russian roulette machine? I mean, I don't even see any cards. I don't see any bottle girls. I don't see shit, Jesse. Okay, but I will take that floaty, all right? Because that is something that's made for a boozy bitch, okay? Yeah, and it should say that on the label. Toys for a boozy bitch. by Fisher Price. Yeah. And also, Summer House has the budget for this. I mean, what? We had a castle a week ago. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. You could have done better, Jesse. Just saying. Come on, Jesse. Get it together. And then here's Sierra and Mia, once again being a good friend to Amanda. And they're having a conversation with her, and they're asking, how did everything go with Sabrina? And then here's when Amanda gets into her self-loathing. Oh, I'm just so over it, I have to say, you know. And I really hate this for her because it didn't have to be this way. It really didn't. And so she's talking about how things went well with Sabrina and that she apologized, but that she feels like a piece of shit. You know what I mean? And she feels like everybody hates her and this kind of shit. And of course, Sierra's like, why do you think that way? Nobody hates you. And why are you always putting yourself down? I'll tell you why, Sierra. It's because deep down, she knows she's a piece of shit because she's doing something wrong. And so, but you don't know that yet. And then Sierra starts to like tear up. And Amanda's like, oh my God, don't make me cry. Come on, Sierra, please don't make me cry. Hold on, let me just get this one eyelash. Yeah, don't make me cry because like I don't want to have to like redo my makeup, you know? And then Mia and Sierra go in for a hug. And, oh, this is just so terrible, okay? Because these girls are just such good friends to her, you know? I mean, friendship doesn't get any better than this. And even new friend Mia has gotten involved. You know what I mean? And so I really, really hate this for Amanda because this is not, she could have picked any other guy, okay? She could have picked Ben, you know what I mean? And they would have actually felt bad for her because they would have blamed it on Kyle. They would have been like, well, he cheated first and you dealt with that for years. So I can understand why, you know, you went for Ben or whatever. You know what I mean? But the fact that she got with West out of all people, someone that one of her best friends used to date and still has feelings for, and then you know he's a fuckboy, and you know he's out here with all the girlies. I mean, it's just ridiculous on all levels, guys. And it's sad, and it's stupid, and it's sick. And she's completely ruined her position on the show, in my opinion. Because, I mean, how is she going to get along with all the other girls now? Because she's untrustworthy, right? And I don't think Sierra's coming back to the show. You know what I'm saying? Unless, you know, they get rid of West or whatever. So this was just completely unnecessary, you know? I liked Amanda on the show, okay? I thought she was good for the show. And so she ruined it for us as well. Because now the cast is divided. It's like Tom Sandoval and Ariana all over again. Except this situation is a little bit better because there are things that could be fixed. But when it comes to Amanda, it's like, I don't know, that's kind of unfixable. You know, she's got to do so much to prove that she's trustworthy again. And I just don't see that happening. So you ruined it. You ruined it for everybody, but especially for me. Okay, so fuck you. You ruined my show, all right? And I'm not really watching anything else right now. So this really, really sucks for me. And this was like my favorite show, you know, on top of that. I mean, aside from Vanderpump Rules, this was like my number one show, pretty much, you know? And so I'm just so pissed off, guys, okay? I'm gonna need a minute. Thanks. Thanks, Amanda. You stupid bitch. I'm kidding. Not really. Let's move on. So now some of the partygoers are starting to arrive. And when I say partygoers, I mean chicks that West has invited. Yeah. Oh, they're pretty though. Yeah. And you know they're going to come, you know. I mean, and it's not because of West, okay? Let's be clear. They're showing up because it's anything to get on the Summer House, all right? Anything to get on the Summer House. That's what it's all about, guys. And so here's our first pick me, runner-up now. She's flirting with Wes, trying to get a doorway in there. A doorway into the cast of Summer House. Except it's not going to happen, sweetheart. Sorry. Yeah, they're closed and they're not taking any more applicants. Yeah. And anyways, Wes has got enough on his plate, including this bitch right here. And West is like, dude, tell me why I, like, went to Italy and then, like, I come back and, like, Ben's married. Like, what's up with that, bro? And Amanda's like, yeah, I know, it's so crazy. But I talked to, like, Sabrina, and, like, everything's cool. Like, you know, we're all good. Yeah, except for the fact that he still wants to bang you. And I love the fact that they're talking about Ben, and there's a cutout of Ben right next to them. Yeah. And then Wes looks like he's going in for an old hug there, or maybe even a kiss. And then he's like, oh, yeah, fuck. I forgot everybody's watching us. Yeah. And you're on camera. But they don't care. But I do, because this is just another breadcrumb to toss on the fucked up salad. So ding, there goes another one. And I lost track now. And here comes Jesse, and he's got his Vegas sign. You know what? Let's just throw the whole Vegas theme out the window by now, okay? So he's got his sign, and it says, Ben's last ride. Okay. And he's got a bottle of Casa Azul, so he means business. And then look at Benjamin in his Johnny Depp Fear and Loathing Las Vegas costume. Okay. And then everybody's cheering him on. They're like, yeah, Benny boy, it's your last ride, brother. And then Sabrina doesn't look too happy. She's like, yeah, that's so disrespectful. Yeah, but it's all in good fun. And speaking of fun, they may not have bottle girls, but they do have bubble girls. Yeah. And oh, look, they're finally using the floaty bar. And Kyle's like, hey, did anybody call for a bartender? No, Kyle, that would be my job. Is Kyle's shirt matching the floaty bar? Is the stripes? Never mind. Anyway, and so the boys are all at the bar, and Kyle is bartending, and he's like, I'm so sorry, guys. You know, like, I've just been going through a lot this summer, and, like, I know, like, Carl's, like, pissed off at me and everything, and, like, I'm gonna have a talk with him, you know, it's gonna be okay. Yeah, it's definitely going to be okay. It's going to be okay for Carl. Carl's fine. You, on the other hand, I don't know. You got a lot of work to do. And just to remember the friendship, here's a little picture from when they were business partners in Loverboy. Yeah. Oh. And look at Kyle's mullet. Are you fucking kidding me? Thank God that's gone. And then Ben and Sierra get to chatting, and Sierra is telling Ben how much she loves Sabrina and how he basically hit the jackpot, right? I mean, she's pretty, she's smart, she's emotionally aware, and all that. And she's like, yeah, and she just really has a good vibe. And then, yeah. And the girl's like, hey, Westy, my bestie, what's going on? Why so glum? What's up? What's wrong? Oh, nothing. I just used to kind of date the girl that's sitting behind you, but it's nothing. It's not that serious. In fact, it doesn't even really matter. Yeah, no. And look at Ben shaking his head. He's like, this is ridiculous. Yeah, it is. And then they start making out. Oh, God. And then they take it over to, like, the pool beds. And now this is really starting to look like an episode of Love Island, huh? Yeah. In one corner, we have West and whoever. And in the other corner, we have Ben and Sabrina. And then across the pool, we have Sierra, who's watching it all. And then here comes Amanda. I'm telling you, is this not Love Island? I mean, or what, you know? And then she's like, oh, can I come in for a cuddle? Okay. Yeah, it's just getting weirder and weirder and weirder because Wes is drunk as fuck. And he starts getting handsy with Amanda.
Am I crashing your party?
No, actually not.
I think I am.
No, we were just chatting, talking about what we were doing later.
Well, my husband is playing at Common Ground.
That's what I heard.
He's DJ Kyle Cook, best DJ in the Hamptons and all of the Hamptons if you want to come.
I think we're gonna go surf lodge.
Dope. Did she say the surf lodge? She's like, fuck the Hamptons and fuck Kyle. I'm going to Montauk. Yeah, you're probably better off. And then there goes Amanda, and she's walking over to where Ben and Sabrina are sitting. And they decide to do a little switcheroo. And so now we've upgraded from weird to strange. And I guess this was part of like a failed attempt at a plan to like break West and this girl up. I don't know, you know, for Sierra or maybe Amanda. I can't keep track anymore. And so this week on Love Island, we have Wesley, and he's trying to make a choice between two lovely girls, and to the right of him is Sabrina, and to the left of him is Carrie-Anne. And so he's trying to make a choice, and as you see, it's very hard. And so drop down in the comments below, and let us know, who do you think Wesley is going to couple up with tonight? Or, oh no, It looks like Wesley has passed out, guys. I'm so sorry. Well, tune in next week to see, will Wesley choose Sabrina or Carrie Ann? Or Amanda, who's now writing Dick on Wesley's forehead. And so please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like this video. Thank you and good night. And so Wesley wakes up from his disco nap, only to say something kind of strange. And so I had to put it in here because the hypocrisy, again, just like Amanda, is loud as fuck.
Our relationship is, which I don't even know. I don't even know what it is. The fact we haven't had one conversation one-on-one all summer. I don't know anything about what she's thinking or feeling at all. Sierra could literally be dating someone right now for all I know. But I feel like I just cheated on my wife.
Ha. No, see, you're not married, West, okay? But Amanda is. And so she's the one that's technically cheating on her wife. Wait a minute, what? Huh? Never mind. And so here's Amanda calling West out, which she never does. So that's refreshing. And she's basically, yeah, because she's probably jealous over the whole makeout thing. But anyway, she says, how are you trying to rekindle something with Sierra? Or at the very least have a friendship. And then this is what you do? You make out with another chick right in front of her? I mean, how did you think that was going to make me feel, West? I mean, see what I mean? I mean, how did you think that was going to make Sierra feel? You know, and how is she going to trust you going forward now in the future? And then Kyle's like, hey, dude, Amanda, dude, like, that was a little harsh, you know? I mean, like, the guy's single, man, you know? I mean, it's not that big of a deal. And Kyle, man, why would you pick your battles, okay? So sit there, enjoy your spiked lemonade, and shut the fuck up. And then, of course, Amanda's like, really, Kyle? You want a piece of me, huh? You really want to argue with me? I don't think so. And then, of course, she walks off. And she heads straight into the girls' room because she has an idea. And she's like, come on, girls, let's listen to what these boys are talking about. You know, and Mia's like, yeah, okay, let's do it. And so they make their way and they crawl their way out into the balcony. And yeah, they can't really hear so good, but they listen in. And they're not really saying much. It's just drunk West whining. And he's like, you know, I try so hard, you know, to like not fuck up and make any mistakes. You know, I don't want to piss her off, but I'm just exhausted. And then Mia's like, psst, Amanda, can you hear anything? And Amanda's like, no. And then Sierra's like, all right, fuck this. Let's go back in the room. And now they're back to doing the breathing exercises again, or whatever that is. Did they learn that on TikTok or something? Is that the new thing? Anyway, so Mia's like, breathe in, breathe out, count to 10, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, girls, nobody's breathing. And then they have a good laugh about it. And then it goes back to the situation with what just happened with West. And the girls are like, yeah, how you doing? How you holding up? And Sierra's like, well, it's exactly what I feared, you know? I mean, he really doesn't hear me. And he actually doesn't see me, even if I'm sitting right next to him. Oh, he saw you, Sierra. Yeah, he saw you. In fact, he even said to the girl that he made out with that the girl sitting behind her, he kinda used to date. And that girl was you. But I know she meant metaphorically. And that's the end of episode 11. And we head into episode 12 in the same conversation. And Sierra's like, well, girls, if I told you he was on probation before, right? Well, he's in jail now. And Amanda's like, I hear you, girl, and I see you. And I just want you to know that you're much loved, okay? We love you so much, and we're here for you. And that's not true, Sierra. Not from Amanda, okay? Mia all day, but not from Amanda. Right? She definitely doesn't hear you. She definitely doesn't see you. And she definitely doesn't love you. Because if she did, she would have taken pause, right? And as she uses as a weapon in the reunion, you can't help who you like and who you fall in love with. Well, I mean, first of all, I don't think this is love. Second of all, you're on a reality television show, right? And so the stakes are much, much, much higher. And so I think in this case, you could have helped who you liked, and you definitely could have taken pause. And I love how they have the time, the day, and the date. As if this is a literal receipt, right? I see what you did there, Bravo. And so the girls are loving on Sierra and giving her some love, much needed. And again, I really hate this for Sierra, and I hate this for Amanda because, I mean, if Sierra comes back to the show, that means Wes can't come back, which that's fine. We love that. Good, great. But then where does that leave Amanda? You know what I mean? I mean, people have shared the house with exes before, but I don't know about ex-best friends. I mean, actually, Lindsay and Danielle kind of sort of did it, right? I guess. And so Sierra's like, fuck this, I'm going out. And I mean, she literally looks like a Barbie doll in like 5 minutes, okay? So not fair. And so the gang is getting ready to head out. And, oh, that's right. Kyle's DJing. I forgot. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I had a little cough there. Sorry, that's no shade at all. Anyway, so Kyle's DJing, and look, Amanda's by his side. Look at that. She's supporting him and rooting him on for once. We finally see Amanda in the DJ booth. And so, yeah, they have a lot of fun, and then they're back by 1:30. And they're all really tired because, it's been a long day. And so they all head straight to bed. And here's Ben and Sabrina. Oh, she's still just a friend, huh? They haven't upgraded her to girlfriend yet? No? Okay. I thought they were married. No? Okay. I thought they were in love, though. No? Okay. And oh, look at Kyle kissing the cutout of Amanda. Oh, this is going to make me cry, guys. Come on. Or maybe I'm getting my period. TMI. But no, this just really makes me sad, It's just like, Kyle, why'd you have to be such a shitty husband, huh? And Amanda, why'd you have to cheat? And then Kyle crawls into bed with Amanda, and he says, thanks for coming tonight, Oh, and she says, of course. And then he says he loves her, and she says she loves him too. And that's the end of the night. Yeah. And so it's the next morning, and Dara comes into the girls' room to, check on Sierra and see how everything's going. And KJ comes in with her. And then she starts to tell Sierra that when they were out last night, Wes was, completely annihilated, and all he was talking about was Sierra. And you know what, Sierra? Don't even entertain that. Don't even, you know what I'm saying? And look at KJ. KJ's like, I'm out of here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't entertain that. And Dara, why are you telling her that shit? Come on now. And so now they're all at the breakfast table having breakfast. And ew, this makes me very uncomfortable. Look at Wes massaging KJ's back, I don't like that. I don't like it. You know what I mean? I mean, I get it. It's his boy, you know what I mean? And they're really good friends and they're close and everything. But here's why it makes me uncomfortable. Is because he's sitting in the middle of Dara and KJ, okay? And we know now that they're a new couple, right? And then we also know that West and Dara used to date. Right? Which we know what that means because he doesn't commit. So what that means is that they fucked, okay? They slept together, all right? And so this is just weird and I don't like it. I don't like it. And now let's kick it up a notch and make it more awkward, right? Because now Sierra comes down for breakfast. And you know what? I think I'm going to let Wes take it from here.
Every day is don't upset Sierra. Don't hurt her feelings.
And you did.
And we were kind of on a good track. I think it's just that all the slow progress we've made, even if it's just flirting after midnight, still helped me feel comfortable in this house. And to think I ruined it by making out with someone I'd never met before just kind of sucks.
Yeah, you think? Really, West? But he doesn't care. Anyway, so they're all having breakfast, and Dara wants to point out that she wants to thank everybody she had such a great time for her first weekend, and thanks to them, it was easy and breezy. Yeah, and it might be your last weekend, Dara. We don't know yet. You know what I'm saying? It all depends on KJ. But the house loves her, and so do I, for now. We'll just have to see. The jury's still out on Bailey. And where the hell is Levi? Is she still part of the cast or what? Oh, no. Here comes Mr. Creepy creeping into Sierra's room to apologize. Once again. He doesn't really care. He's not sorry. You know what I mean? This is just performative and storyline-ish. You know what I'm saying? Because if he really cared, about keeping the peace in the house and being friends with Sierra and not pissing her off, quotation marks, he would have made out with that girl in a bathroom somewhere, okay? And not in front of her face. And so here's West apologizing, and he's like, hey, Sierra, dude, man, like, Sierra, man, I'm so sorry, you know? Like, yeah, we were just getting back cool and everything, and I think we were, like, building a friendship again, and I fucked that up, you know? And so, like, I'm really sorry, you know? And Sierra's given up, and she's like, look, you know, we don't need to be friends. We don't need to be anything. You know, you're free. You can do whatever the fuck you want, okay? And yeah, we can just keep it that way. And then here's West's, I really wish I was bummed, but I'm not. I don't give a shit. Face. And then here's Sierra's, I can go one more round. I'm not done yet. Face. Unfortunately. And then here's Wes Evil Face. Yeah, it's totally giving. You will like me again, and you will go out with me again, and you will not care what I have done in the past or what I have done last night. And is that how you got Amanda? Oof, creepy. And so I guess they leave it that, you know, or Sierra leaves it that they're going to be civil. And so I guess that means they're right back to where they started from. Okay. And Sierra, honey, don't get back on that ride. Cancel your season pass, okay? Get out of there. And she did, because now she's back in the city. And my God, I mean, come on. You know, I mean, she can't even sit on a broken down stoop in New York and look bad, okay? I mean, this looks like a model campaign. I mean, it's, anyway. And so here comes Mia and her brother Nick, all right? And they're all meeting up because Sierra has a medium for her. So this should be exciting. And here's the medium, and her name is Tiffany. All right, Tiff, let's see what you got. So first she tells her that her grandmother's there, and then she tells her that her mother's there, and she doesn't say anything about her father, but she does tell her that her mother's with her and that she's going to have a baby girl. Aw, that's nice. And look at Sierra over here taking notes. She's so cute. Ew. Sorry, he just took me caught off guard there for a minute. Anyway, this is West coming to some dog volunteer thing or event or charity or whatever. And then guess who also is arriving? Yeah, Kyle and Amanda. So get ready, guys, because up in just a few seconds, we're going to have one of the biggest breadcrumbs of the summer. And so are you ready? Okay. Okay, so first up, we have West waving hello to Kyle and Amanda. Yeah, Hi, yeah, hi. Oh, ooh, okay. Wait a minute. Oh, look, even the dog saw that one. And now in this next clip, this is the big one, guys, okay? And so it starts off that Kyle is ordering drinks for West and Amanda. And then outside, West and Amanda are talking. And so here we go.
How's your week been?
Fine.
Have you had time to reflect?
I've had the scaries, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
Pretty horribly.
Yeah? Do you remember me getting upset with you?
Yeah.
Pause. Why does this feel like a mommy and son conversation? Right? The way she's talking to him. She's like, do you remember like me getting upset with you and like talking to you? Yeah? Yeah? Do you remember? Yeah? And he's like, yeah, I think so. I think
What like upset me the most is that you've been such a good friend to me all summer long. Like it bothers you when you see Kyle disrespect me and someone who's been so supportive of me and like looking out for me and standing up for me, and then to watch you disrespect Sierra in that way, it just like
Pause. Disrespect Sierra or disrespect you?
it puts this weird like dynamic in place.
No, that's
you know
why
what
I've been
I mean?
trying to protect everything for the last...
Oh, thank you.
Is that for me? Yeah. Oh, thanks, Kyle. Well, it's
Kyle.
like this.
Thanks, Kyle.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not an idiot. I understand why I was disrespectful and hurtful, but now I'm like, what did I just jeopardize? Like, was it friendship? Was it like rekindling? Was it just her tolerating me for 8 weeks during the summer? Like, I don't know.
Pause. Or did he really want to say is that did he jeopardize something with Amanda? And that when he made out with some random chick, that maybe instead of making Sierra jealous, he was really trying to make Amanda jealous. Now chew on that.
There's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of layers to it, and I get what
Yeah,
you're saying.
we
but
know.
Yeah, because if you hated each other, like, yeah, go ahead, do whatever you want. But you guys are also, like, rumor has it, super flirty when you go out at night.
Pause. Ooh, is Amanda getting jealous? Yeah. She's like, you can't be flirting with Sierra. You're supposed to be flirting with me.
That is true. Now the friendships.
Yeah.
Any advice?
Uh-huh.
Just stay.
Don't go silent. Take accountability. Like, apologize. And then there's no, like, ands, ifs, or buts.
Ding dong. There's another one. And look, guys, the reason why this was a big breadcrumb was because you can see they were talking in code. You know what I mean? I mean, they were talking to each other about each other, but they were using other people's names. Okay? And so that was very telling for me, obviously. And so here we go with another weekend. And I think this might be the second to last weekend. So, and here you have Mia, Sierra, and then in the back you have Dara and Scott, who is Mia's boyfriend. And I don't want to get too much into him because as we know now in current time, they're broken up, right? And so I'll give you the cliff notes. Basically, Scott travels a lot. And so he's not really around, you know what I mean? And so Mia has plans for the future. She wants a family and all that. So, and then he's not really on the show. I mean, this is the only weekend that we kind of get to meet him. And we, you know, we get little snippets here and there. And so I can't really judge the guy, right? I mean, but from what I know, he seems fun. He seems like a regular guy. You know, he's nice, he's polite, he's respectful, right? And so I think that, you know, the only thing that really matters here is that their plans didn't align, and so now they're broken up. So that's that. Okay? Bye, Scott. So the boys show up to the house first, and Kyle lets them know that Amanda will not be joining them. And so thank God. We can finally get a peaceful weekend, you know? Sorry, Amanda, no offense to you, but you and Kyle together, it's just not a fun weekend. Summer should be fun. And speaking of fun, here comes the girls, except there's only 3, plus Scott. And then Sierra does her little KJ got a girlfriend dance. KJ got a girlfriend. What? KJ got a girlfriend. And then, of course, Mia and Sierra had to sit him down and give him the chat. So that Sierra's like, well, I think it's a little bit fast, but, you know what you're doing. And just, you know, watch out for yourself, protect your peace, you know what I'm saying? And obviously she knows from experience. And then Mia tells him that, you know, if you guys really care about each other, you know, you're not going anywhere. What's the rush, right? She's not going anywhere. Yeah, and definitely not, because she wants to get on the show, right? And look at her. That's why she's eavesdropping. She's like, what are these 2 bitches telling him? And then Sierra goes into the room and she gets on the phone with Amanda. She's FaceTiming with Amanda. And she's like, girl, why did you leave me alone? Like, why aren't you here? You know, I miss you. And Amanda's like, I miss you too, but I just can't do it. I'm not going to do it this weekend. You know, I need to take a mental health day and like, I just can't do it. And so Sierra's like, all right, bitch, well, I just want to let you know that you are leaving me here with 7 dudes, okay? 7 dudes in a pool, yep, and 3 girls. Yeah, that's not the greatest ratio. And then while she's on the phone FaceTiming with Amanda, guess who sneaks into the room? West, to apologize once again. And he's like, oh, sorry, are you on the phone? I'll, like, come back or whatever. And she's like, no, that's fine. You can stay. And I think he kind of knows at this point that it's Amanda on the other phone, but he doesn't say anything. And so he apologizes once again, and he just says, you know, I've been bummed out all week, you know, just thinking about this whole situation and what happened last weekend. And, yeah, I just wanted to apologize once again. You know, it was a really shitty thing to do. And, like, yeah, that's it. All right, man. Like, so, oh, by the way, whoever you're on the phone with, just like tell them I said what's up. And listen, man, this is simple, but it's diabolical. You know what I mean? Because it's like he knows Amanda's on the phone. And it's like here he is apologizing to Sierra. And Amanda was privy to the whole thing. She listened to the entire conversation, which wasn't much. I mean, it was only like, I'm sorry. Okay, later. You know what I mean? And I think he did that for a reason because he knew that Amanda was listening, you know? And the more that I watch this season, the more I'm thinking that like this whole Sierra West situation was just a diversion, really. You know what I'm saying? It's so fucked up. And then look at Amanda, okay? She's like hiding her face. She's like, oh my God, that was like the worst apology ever. And then here's Sierra in her confessional. And this just irks me because it's like, I just want to shake her if she only knew. And so she's saying that she's sick and tired of hating on West, okay? And that she basically wants to be friends with him again. Oh, God. And then here she goes, coming back to West's room to basically ask him out for coffee the next day. Oh, Sierra, what are you doing? Oh my God. I mean, I get it. Like she didn't know. She didn't know in that moment. And she was looking through a very different lens. And, you know, I'm sure he was filling her with a bunch of bullshit. So I'm sure she probably got the impression that he was interested or whatever. But this is so like, okay, so he goes and he makes out with a girl right in front of you and you go and ask him out for coffee. Yeah. What the hell? Meanwhile, downstairs, everybody's getting drunk and having a good time. It's a good night. So good that Kyle is just living his best drunk boy dreams. And then he's in his confessional and he's saying that he's having one of the best weekends of his life and it's been a long time and it's probably because Amanda isn't there. Oh, shit. Yeah, well, you know what? She probably doesn't want to deal with your drunk ass anyway, Kyle. No offense. And so here's Kyle and Ben just having a gay old time. And then everybody's gone to bed, and these two are still going. And now Kyle is just at 100%, and he's just whining about his marriage again. But more importantly, he's telling Ben that, you know, I'm sorry that you had to meet me like this. You know, I'm at my worst time. I'm at my lowest. You know, my business is shit. My wife is shit. My friendships are shit. He's like, you're meeting the worst version of me, basically. And Ben says, no, man, no. You know, I don't look at all this and think of you that's who you are or whatever he was fucking saying. And now it's morning time. And they're still going. Okay. Did they go to bed? It doesn't matter. And so now West and Sierra are going to go out for their little coffee date. So they head out to the docks over in Sag Harbor. And as it turns out, I think in the next episode, the gang is going to go on like a boat day. So this little coffee date is at the docks because they want some alone time before the rest of the group gets there so they can have their talk, I guess. And so they're finally going to have their talk. You know, it's been 2 years of back and forth and anger and resentment and disappointment. And so finally, at least for Sierra's sanity, you know, she had to have this talk with West. And you can clearly see he doesn't give a shit. I mean, he doesn't want to do this, you know. He just wants to be, I'm just going to say it. He just wants to be cool with her so that he could be at the house, all right? And I'm starting to think, as I said, more and more and more that he had this agenda of being with Amanda. You know, I mean, he probably was already with her at this point. You never know. But let's just stick to what they said. And if he wasn't with Amanda at this time, I think he planned to be, right? And so maybe, in a way, the reason why he made out with that girl in front of her was so that he could sabotage it, so he could finally get rid of Sierra once and for all, you know, which I know is a horrible thing to say, but it's like the more and more I think about this, I think his plan was to be with Amanda, right? And so all of this was just script. Maybe it was like all the other girls and flirting with Sierra was all just to say, look, I wasn't into Amanda, right? Because I was a fuckboy and I was flirting with Sierra. Anyway, just a theory. But you see, look at him. He doesn't look excited at all. I mean, look, I know nobody wants to have these conversations because they're uncomfortable. But I mean, if he really did like her, he would have some interest, right? And he just looks like he wants to get this over with. And then on Sierra's side of things is clearly very different, right? I mean, she looks at West as a friend turned lover turned enemy. Right? And she's sick of being enemies. And I get that. And so she wants to go back to being friends. But the problem with that is that Sierra is still interested in West, right? She still has feelings for him. That's why clearly she's emotional and he isn't. Okay? And so that's why I'm saying all of this is because it's obvious when you can see that someone likes someone. You know, they get emotional, they care, they get upset, you know, all the things. And West doesn't have those type of emotions. And I believe that it's not because... Well, yeah, he's a psycho and he's an asshole, but I don't believe that it's because he's stone cold. I believe it's just because he doesn't have those type of feelings for her, right? Like I said, he just wants to be cool and just have like a very surface level friendship, okay? And Sierra doesn't want that. I believe she does want to date Wes again. I feel like she, at this point in time, she wanted to like kind of slowly get back into a relationship. And the only way to do that is to become friends, right? So that was the first step for Sierra to bridging that gap to going back home. Except West isn't your home, honey. No, he's not. No. And so Sierra lays it all on the line here, right? And she says to West, she said, look, you know, you really hurt my feelings, you know, because when I met you, we became really good friends. And then you brought me home to like meet your parents. And, you know, I just thought it was very special. And we were hanging out like every day. And so when things turned casual for you, it was very disappointing for me. But that wasn't really it. It was when you took it to social media and all the things that you said and this and that, you know, that just really broke my heart. And so when we had to share a house together, you know, it was awkward. And so, yeah, I was mean towards you for a long time. And so Wes says, yeah, he gets it. And that, you know, obviously it's not normal to share a house with somebody that you had feelings for. But, you know, he once again backs up his story about how he didn't really know how to deal with social media and he was new to all this and the show and all that, and that he didn't know how to handle it, which is bullshit. Okay, West, I mean, you knew enough, you have enough, or you would think you would have enough human decency to not say certain things about Sierra. You know what I mean? It's not like she cheated on you or broke your heart. You know what I mean? I mean, you could have just literally just said, I wasn't interested or whatever. You didn't have to go into all the things that you did. And I'm not going to go into all the things that he said. But basically, so he apologizes and he just said, look, you know, I didn't really know how to handle it. And then now I'm living in the house with you and you're being mean to me and I didn't know how to handle that. And so I made out with somebody. No. And so Sierra's like, well, you could have come to me instead of going to the press. You know, we could have resolved this a long time ago. And Wes is like, yeah, I know, dude. I just didn't know what to do, man. You know, it's like, I don't know the press that, you know, I don't know how it works. You know what I mean? And then Sierra's just like, you know, I just really miss you and I miss our friendship. And, you know, and she starts crying, you know. Well, she's been emotional this entire conversation and she's been tearing up. And Wes hasn't even so much as cracked a smile, a tear, nothing, right? And so, oh, wait, sorry. No, wait. He pushes out one little tear. Uh-huh. There it is. Oh, yeah. That's nice. And so Wes says, listen, I miss you too, you know, like, how can I not? And Sierra's like, yeah, I just want to go back to being best friends again. Can we do that? And then they hug it out. And the hug kind of lasts a little while. And might I add that West was the first to break away, but just saying. And then they sit down and, oh, God, see this right here. I hate to see that look. Look at that look. You see, this is what I'm talking about. That's the look of one more time. One more time. And like I said, sometimes people have to get on that ride several times to realize that it's bullshit. And then Wes says, oh, and by the way, I had to watch you make out with Jesse on the pool floaties last year. And ha 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 ha, they have a good laugh about it. And please, Wes, you don't give a shit about Jesse and Sierra, okay? You just totally cocked blocked that whole situation so that you can keep your storyline going with Sierra. And that makes another thing that I'm pissed off at you about, Wes. It's like, let's just pile it on, right? Let's add to the list now. Is that you totally fucked up that situation between Jesse and Sierra. And I don't know if they would have been perfect for each other, but he definitely would have been a better choice than you know? And you never know. That could have really gone somewhere, you know? And so fuck you again, West, all right? Fuck you for fucking it up between Jesse and Sierra. And then Sierra's like, well, you know, you could have rescued me, you know. You know, you could have told Jesse, listen, get your hands off my girl. And look at Wes. He's like, yeah, I guess I could have done that. Uh-huh. Yeah, but no, you weren't going to do that. And once again, West, it looks like you have gotten yourself into another entanglement. And that is the end of episode 12. And that's the end of part 3, guys. So please stay tuned for part 4, okay? Because we're going to get right back into it. And I promise we have 6 more episodes left, and then that's it. And then I'm going to recap the reunions. Alrighty, so please stay tuned and like and subscribe and do all the things. And thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Bye.